There are a grand assortment of things happening in my life right now that have me feeling all sorts of time is short, time is a gift, emotional and hard. And I am feeling every day my age in a way that our audience is not kind about. They are cruel about my aging. And I've told you for a couple of years, it's probably been about 10 years since I left a Kanye West concert when I was 40 because I'm like, this is no good. I can't do this. It's too much. And I left Live and my nipples hurt because the music was too loud. That was like 14 years ago. I was feeling my age. But I don't believe that I have ever felt as old as I did this weekend. Now, it's been precipitated by Stugotz's behavior lately in terms of my aging. He's not here again today. Dead show, buddy. But I want to ask you guys, before I tell you this story of what happened to me this weekend, if any of you have ever seen a hit and run take place somewhere near you, like somewhere around you, you're at a stoplight, and you see a hit and run take place.
Yeah, I've been in one. I live in Miami.
Okay. Well, nobody else, though? You're the
I feel bad for them.
I've witnessed from afar, like across an intersection, that guy just hit that person. Oh, they're out of here. I didn't stick around to be a witness, but I've seen that.
Why not?
I've also seen it from like far away to where there was nothing as a bystander you could do about it. Just saw it and, all right, they're gone.
I've only lived here a week, so I have not seen it.
All right, give her time.
I was going to say 2 then?
Well,
so 2?
I'll probably see one today.
Shockingly, I was talking to Fuentes before the show, and he said it's happened to him 3 times.
He's a know-it-all. If there's nothing you can't say anything to him without him being like, I've had that happen to me 4 times.
It's his experience. It's happened 3 times. Like, do you think he wants that to happen? He's like, oh, guys, yeah, I love getting in hit and runs. They're sick.
Yeah, but he'll be quick to volunteer the information.
If you haven't noticed, Tony and Mike Fuentes are often aligned. Yeah.
Well, I didn't say anything about hit and runs for your guys' pleasure, so luckily I haven't been in one.
Explain this part to me about Fuentes, though, okay? Because I felt a little bit heartbroken for him.
When you said anyone with a mic had it happen to them.
Yes, when I asked Mike, that's not when I felt bad for him. I did ask Mike Fuentes, has anyone with a microphone ever had a hit and run happen to them? I asked the room this, and Fuentes was the one who answered 3 times because he's desperate to get in here. And he's desperate to get in front of a microphone. No, I don't want him. Thank you, Mike.
You sure?
No, do not want him.
He's still working on the Rubik's Cube.
But I did feel bad for him this weekend because you said if he finished the Rubik's Cube, he would be allowed in the shipping container. And then he excitedly brought in the Rubik's Cube completed, and he hasn't been in the shipping container. So you lied to him.
We haven't been able to verify it. He just shows up in the rooms after being away for a while. Look, I finished it. I'm like, I got to see you finish it, pal.
Okay. So this is what happened to me. I'm at a light, and I'm, as I often am these days, which is always, my mind is elsewhere. I'm not present. I'm not at the light. And very near me.
Is this because Damian Lillard? I'm the same, bro.
You know what? I've got some Damian Lillard news for you.
Oh, what?
Yes, but I'm not going to get to it yet. But I did some actual reporting this weekend.
Yeah, reporter hat back on.
I didn't like wearing it, but I've got some information for you that I will give you on Lillard in a second. Everyone's already sick of Lillard, then I limp in. Everyone, in a slow summer, when everyone's like, get this Lillard news off, there's nothing to talk about. They just want to talk about a transaction and hot dog eating. All right, I'm sick of Lillard. Get him out of here because nobody will stop talking about him. But I have an advancement or more information for you.
Nice.
That I'll get to in a second. I'm at the light, and very near me is a loud crashing sound. And now my wife, who's sitting next to me, if she weren't sitting, if she were standing, she would be like Frances McDormand in Fargo, where when William H. Macy speeds out of the lot, like just sort of like something has happened over here. That guy's getting away. That guy's getting away.
Yeah, the Fargo reference makes sense with how you open this segment.
There's a guy getting away, and now I'm supposed to do something about it because my wife is shouting he's getting away.
Oh boy. This is your time. This is
What are you, speed racer, Dan? Like you're to chase him?
These are the moments.
Well, what do you do? What do any of you do? It's happened right.
What do I do when someone screams he's getting away? Oh! How big is the person?
I'm asking you guys, if you hear this happen to you, like right next to you at a stoplight, and now a crashed car, like it was a big accident, like something bad happened, and this truck is now crashed and driving away, and your wife is yelling, he's getting away. What do you do?
That's too bad. Gee, and you like reach out.
So you stay out of it?
I check my notification from Woj first.
I couldn't be more staying out of it. I'm like, I look over at my wife like, really?
Dan, what are you, David Hasselhoff and Kit? You're going to all of a sudden like drive off and go find the guy?
I couldn't agree more.
I say buckle up.
Well, that's what I did.
You chased him?
Yes.
Yeah.
But driving like my dad.
Way to go, Dom Toretto.
Like put your blinker on.
But
Dom Toretto, but respecting the rules of the road.
No, wait, it gets better though. I'm driving I am chasing him, and now he is going through red lights. But he's got a wrecked red car, and I've got a $150,000 Speedmobile.
Yeah.
But I'm driving like my dad.
With your hands on 10 and 2.
That's great. So I'm just trying to get close enough.
Are you in a high-speed chase whilst putting on your turn signal?
Look, I'm not gonna stop this person. I just want a license plate.
No, it's a good idea.
All I'm trying to do is I'm not gonna go and fight in this Florida. with where gun laws are?
That was my first thought.
No, I'm not. I'm just going to look and see if I can catch this person's license.
Is that an E or what is that letter?
Oh, that's another thing.
This is the next thing. This is the next thing.
I think it's A-E-L.
I'm like, where are my glasses? I was close enough to see it if I had my...
Is that a niner?
No. A Mr. Magoo hero.
I told her... I told my wife that was totally Mr. Magoo, a blind cartoon. That's how he would drive, because I was going about 36 miles an hour.
So your attempt at being a hero turned into a field sight test, and you now needed. The story ends with you getting glasses.
I've had glasses. I just didn't have them on me. The story, what the story
it's just
ends.
like Vin Diesel searching for his glasses, putting on turn signals, respecting the rules of the road, not wanting to tailgate during his chase.
The story ends with my wife laughing at me. That's how this, and me not catching up to the car, like me ending up driving in circles in a like a strip mall out in front of a Bahama Breeze because I got like disoriented trying to chase the person and they were trying to get away from me, and they did.
And the Woj alert was just about Dario Saric.
Well, I thank you for bringing up Woj.
But he's had bad looks.
Well, the Heat know that he is just agenda-based, shilling and bought and paid for by Portland. Like, it's embarrassing that Woj is telling people it might be weeks or months on Lillard, and this is the Heat's position. There are no calls going back and forth. The offer is Hero, and Hero's the best one you're going to get from anybody. He's better than Maxey. He's the best you're going to get. You're boxed in. Lillard wants to be with us. This is the offer. It's not calls going back and forth. There are no calls going back and forth. Portland can do all they want with Woj, sending out all sorts of smoke signals about pressure. It's the offer, and they're saying, show us someone who's better at that age that you're going to get anywhere in the league from anyone, given that Lillard is only going to play here. Be happy with Hero because he's a top 75 player. And this one, people love saying specifically to me because they thought I would think it first. They're like, Hero's better than Maxey. He's just whiter than Maxey. And so he gets disregarded as a prospect as if he hasn't been a young dude in his 20s, in his early 20s, who's a 20-point a game scorer. Like, please stop telling me that doesn't have value, is what the Heat are saying. And if it doesn't have value, okay, league, show us a better offer. Where's the better offer? Is it Jaylen Brown's $304 million supermax? Like, where's the better offer when Lillard doesn't want to actually go to Boston?
This room just broke out into a Maxey hero debate while you were talking.
Maxey's good. I really like Maxey.
I don't dispute that.
Maxey is the player that you want in this scenario. You can handle the ball. He can play off ball. Like that's who I like.
So
That's
you
who Tyler
just
Hero
described
is.
Tyler Hero, and Maxey's somehow a worse defender than Tyler Hero.
Little shiftier Maxey is.
No.
Oh yeah.
What are we doing there?
Let's use a
He's
different way
shiftier.
to describe him.
Hero's also a better rebounder.
Much better. Much better. What is it? 22-3 for Maxey, 25-4 for Tyler Hero. The perception of both these prospects is totally different. As if Maxey isn't a super dangerous candidate for a big contract. At least you have Hero locked up at a fairly reasonable number, especially as the cap goes up. I don't understand the narrative around Maxey versus Hero.
But
they're very similar players.
But you can go ahead and quibble if you like about wherever it is. We can have a good sports debate.
Yeah, and Dame doesn't want to go to Philadelphia.
That's
He wants to
correct.
go here. You're lucky you're
You're
getting Hero.
leveraged, Portland. Like, nothing that Woj writes is going to change the offer. The offer's the offer. It's the best one you're going to get from Miami, and they think it's the best one you're going to get.
Yeah. Now Dame's agent is accelerating this negotiation by saying, hey, Dame's not the only client I have. I'm going to remember this. And other players, when you see reports, other players are watching how Portland treats Damian Lillard. That's what they mean.
I'm stunned by the mask being taken off of Woj this way, in a way that the Heat are like, yeah, you're just writing for Portland. Like, that's not journalism. That's not journalism.
Didn't this just happen to Schefter not that long ago, though? Like, this journalism wing is not quite what it was in the information game. Like, that part is completely different, and those guys might be capable of doing some journalism, but the information game at this point is not journalism.
Woj 2 years ago wrote how this is a bad contract, this Damian Lillard. This is one of those dangerous contracts, but because there's ties to Draft Express from Cronin, well, to the assistant GM over there, all of a sudden you have to get a King's Hall for this.
I'd like to see what the offer is that's better for a guy who's going to make $60 million or whatever it is in his mid-30s. Speaking of old, were you guys at all surprised that over the weekend Jimmy Johnson turned 80 years old? 80? No surprise there?
He looks 80.
He's been old my whole life.
I thought I saw a video of him getting hit in the back of the head with a water balloon over the weekend.
Do we have that video somewhere? Can we find the video, please? Was that Jimmy Johnson? Was it Mike Pence? Was it Bobby Cremins? Who is it that a rifle-armed, was it a woman or a teenager?
It was a girl.
Okay. Do we have the video ready?
We're going to have it up in 1 minute.
It was not Mike Pence, though, right? People thought it was Mike Pence, and it would have been wonderful if it had been Mike Pence. just for the comedic effect of a laser-armed, razor-sharp throwing water balloon girl. We do have the video. Let's show that so that people can see. God, that's so much funnier if it had been Mike Pence. From how far was that? I mean, and it's just
That's a dime.
It was a seed.
Wait, but is this the point of it? Because he doesn't seem to react to it, and there's multiple things flying at him.
The follow through on that was like a pitcher like throwing it out and like really following
There's
through.
a bunch of puddles on the ground and a bunch of kids in swim trunks, so I guess that this is the thing. And I don't.
He just wears it. He keeps waving.
Yeah, because
he takes one step, shakes it off, and continues waving.
I'm saying that a water balloon can't be thrown more precisely than that. It's
On
a
the
laser.
run.
It's a laser that hits him in the right temple from about 30 yards away.
Would have hit him back shoulder if his head didn't get in the way.
Perfect.
The brother or cousin of the little girl is like, "What'd you do?"
11 years old, I'm guessing that girl is.
She's got a rocket.
Yeah. Has anyone checked up on Bob Baffert?
Better than anything Zach Wilson has done as a pro. That accuracy. What?
He had that one throw
On the run. Yeah, he did.
in the
have that
camp.
one
Yeah, that was amazing.
I will say she has
75 yards.
better
whatever it was.
mechanics than Tim Tebow ever did. Nice
Yeah.
short release. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah. Balls out quick.
I'm going to be nostalgic about it. This is not a Jimmy Johnson team, but it's about something that he left behind. And happy 80th birthday, by the way, to Jimmy Johnson. Let me find the happy birthday sound.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Oh, I got something for Stephen A. Smith later, too. But here is a crazy stat from ML Football. This is crazy. The 2001 Miami Hurricanes defense, Ed Reed, Vince Wilfork.
What?
That's good. That's,
he does like ribs.
Yeah, I know he does.
That video is so delightful of him cooking ribs. Like in, what was it? Like a weird office cabinet? It was incredible.
This team is the best team I've ever seen until Joe Burrow's LSU team. But the 2001 Miami Hurricanes defense, headlined by Ed Reed, was so dominant that even if the offense scored 0 touchdowns the entire season, they would have gone 8-4.
Which is better than Miami did this season by a great deal.
That's insane.
Iowa does that every year, so I don't know what you're talking about.
No, not every year.
Every
Last
year they actually
Pretty
go
much.
8-4 without scoring a touchdown. That's true.
Last year, Lucy, is the worst Iowa offense anyone has ever seen.
I'm very aware.
But okay, so it's not every year. That was the worst
No,
one they've
it's
had.
pretty much like that most years.
Can I tell you that the fact that you have Hawkeye ties only helped your case in getting hired here, because I so desperately want an excuse to talk about Hawkeye football after weeks and weeks and years of kickoff at noon slop. I need this.
You don't know joy till you've watched a 6-4 Iowa win.
I mean, I don't feel like our show has done anything other than say about Iowa football for about 15 years that nobody would want to fight Hayden Fry, the former.
He's so cool.
But that Iowa offense can't be talked about enough. And the nepotism there is a magical thing because the son is the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that pains me every single day. Thank
He
you for
works
bringing
hard.
that up, Dan. It's going to be a great day.
Let me ask you guys this about what Tyreek Hill said over the weekend, because I'm about to make an announcement. I want to make an announcement after I tell you what it is that Tyreek Hill has said. But did you guys see it or no?
I did. Yeah.
He says he's going to have more than 2,000 yards and the Dolphins are going to win the Super Bowl. And the announcement I'd like to make is that in sports, words no longer mean anything. Say whatever you want. Yeah. It doesn't matter. The pressure is what the pressure is.
That was Stugotz's argument a while ago.
I mean, that's his whole career.
Yeah, 18 years ago, to be exact.
His whole career is just, I'm going to let it fly.
Just say things, no consequences.
There are no consequences. This is the same person who told you the Chiefs were going to win, I think, 5 to 8 Super Bowls, and it doesn't. Like, the words don't mean anything.
No, words don't mean anything anymore. I'm not going to make this political, but people just realized recently over the last 5 years, I could just be shameless about stuff and just continue to double down, and my advocates and supporters will probably just grow in number.
Pretty crazy that Tyreek Hill beat Greg Cody to that take.
Hey, he almost didn't he get it? Or 200 receptions, but Waddle got injured. I think Waddle was short, but he was on pace.
Cody was not beaten to that take. Cody had that take last year. It just wasn't right. He had Tyreek Hill doing those things. And the funny thing about what Tyreek Hill is saying is it's not actually absurd, which is what he brought with him in terms of excitement and expectations, that he says it, and it's not shockingly controversial beyond words no longer meaning anything, because everyone knows he's great and the Dolphins are great. And if he could just stop hitting men, women, and children, they may indeed win the Super Bowl.
Allegedly boat crew members too.
I mean, well, that was men. That was what I put.
Yeah.
Men. Do you have that Neil Brennan sound? I've been wanting to play it again and again for months about Neil Brennan just giving us what football players are away from football very often, because Tyreek Hill is someone who is very easy to root for because of how he plays, and not very easy to root for because of some of the stuff that he drags around with him. Here's the comic Neil Brennan talking about what happens when Ray Rice happens.
I've been doing a joke in my act about people being surprised when football players are violent off the field, and it's like that's all they know is violence. Their job in and of itself is attempted murder. Like, that is their job. Like, a football roster is 2 guys that can catch, 2 guys that can throw, kicker, punter, 40 murderers. Whenever I read a headline like Ray Rice punches girlfriend on an elevator, all I see is, like, football player does football at the wrong time. That's their whole, it's just like go to practice, their whole life from the time they're little kids. Go to practice, do football. Go to the game, do football. You with your girlfriend, do football. Oh, Christ, I wasn't supposed to do football that time. I was supposed to do elevator, and I did football.
Can you guys find for me the picture that everybody was talking about this weekend that I did not have happening, but I find wonderful that it did happen? All of us had the same reaction. This has got to be rare in a divided America. To seeing Lionel Messi in a Publix, right? It was like everyone had the same universal reaction. Now we're going to inspect why is he using so much plastic? Why is he eating so much cereal? But the main question is really he does his own shopping, and it's at a Publix. And I got to think, Mike, I don't know how high on the list it is, because yesterday it got rained on and Messi wasn't going to talk, and then he did talk, and when he does talk, he's not terribly interesting. But I have to think that part of the reason Messi came down here is because he can shop at a Publix. Like, he cannot.
Just for the pub subs, you mean?
That's the chicken?
Yeah.
I mean,
you do chicken tender pub sub?
I mean.
I go ultimate.
But I mean, the ability to go into a supermarket, there aren't a lot of places in the world that Messi can do that and not be totally swamped and attacked in a way that makes his life miserable. Charles Barkley used to say of Michael Jordan, I would not want his life. He cannot go anywhere. He cannot go. Charles Barkley says, I can go places. I've got a level of stardom. But Michael Jordan can't go anywhere. I would not want that. Messi is the most famous athlete in the world. He cannot shop at a grocery store in Argentina.
No, not in Argentina, not in Barcelona. Maybe you can get away with it in Paris, but that was part of the data that went into their family's decision making. Now, I do find this cute. I don't know how routine and commonplace that's going to be, especially henceforth, but it's not something he could have done just in his home country like that.
Henceforth.
Thank you for saying that. I think we're all thinking it.
What? It is going to be at times like a circus.
Henceforth.
He dropped the Wills too earlier.
Wiles.
Did you? What are you doing? You go to Tahoe,
Witty
you
thing, I don't
hobnob with celebrities, and you come back and speaking the King's English?
Yeah, that was a little weird, I guess.
What happened?
I don't know. I could have said from here on out. But Dan, I'd like to be efficient with this microphone, especially with the co-host out. I'd like to know my spots.
So henceforth,
Yeah, I deserve to be dragged for that.
But Lionel Messi, henceforth, the introduction was swamped by rain. You should all be very, very worried about everything that's happening with our storms and climate. An airport, the Persian Gulf International Airport, had a heat index yesterday at 12:30 of 152. It's that animals and humans cannot live in that.
I saw the water temperatures of some coastal Florida waters got up to 98.
Oh, Mike, we are. I don't know if, oh my God, do people understand that if a storm forms in the next few months and heads toward Miami, in those waters, it's going to be 200 miles an hour. That heat.
I just moved here. Why are you talking about this?
I did the same thing to Jessica. As soon as Jessica got here, storm season is a horror. She learned about king tides when she got here, because those are another thing to worry about that's going to flood everything. But those waters,
it's why he went to the plastic bags when he started talking about Messi and Publix. It's why it was the first observation that he had, that he wasn't doing reusable bags.
Well, that would have been even better, though. Just the idea that he always shops at Publix.
I imagine he'd have like just a person instead of a bag. It'd be like 8 people carrying out all the individual items.
I'm going to make a friendly wager that's the last time we see a photo of Messi at Publix.
Had to be Fort Lauderdale.
I know the Publix if you want to camp out.
Put it on the poll, please. Were you stunned Messi shops for himself?
So we mentioned the Publix observations, but I don't really think anybody talked about what happened last night, which was kind of interesting in that they sold out a stadium for someone to just come out and wave at them in a T-shirt. But that to me was the main takeaway from the Messi unveiling. Jeremy, just rifle it off.
Sounds like it was a messy situation.
Mike, but we've seen this before. Remember Big 3? They came up from the seat or from the ground or whatever. Like, they sold out the arena for that too. Like, that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't a full sellout. I went to that Big 3 intro, and that was really cool. I decided against going to this one because I just thought it was all going to be bad.
It was pouring?
No, because I'm a season ticket holder, and I know that they haven't necessarily dealt with something like this. That many people, GA seating. The parking situation isn't the same as it is for regular games. And I've seen unveilings before, and they're not fun. Usually a guy comes out in a full kit, kicks around a ball, and people clap, and it just seems all kind of stupid to me. And also, I sold those for $300. So, and then when you see the forecast, that just, I was basically kicked back in my couch with a snifter laughing at the poor bastard that bought my seats.
Make up for the money at the craps table, or?
A little bit. But it's going to take a few more Messi games, so.
Did you have any FOMO on seeing him introduce?
What's the opposite of FOMO? Yeah. What's the opposite of like?
I was so happy I wasn't there.
Oh God, I'm so glad I'm not there. Yeah.
The drone shot. I know everyone talks about how small that stadium is. The drone shot was just like, oh wow, this is such a cute little stadium that he's playing in.
They added 3,000 seats in one corner, seemingly overnight. Pictured there, top right. They added that very quickly, but I know everyone's going to take the opportunity. Sound wasn't working, and this is such a mess because of the rain and all that. Ultimately, the greatest player ever decided to come to Inter Miami, which plays right across from Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, and they packed the house just to see that ridiculous display. And for me, that was a cool takeaway. That and, oh my God, how did this person pay $300 for these?
The takeaway for me was to really, really marvel at what a smart business decision this human being has made. And it will have its pressures, and people will criticize the smallness of it. And maybe at some point he will regret the smallness of, what do you mean I'm the greatest player ever and I'm playing in Fort Lauderdale? Like, this is not what I'm used to. I go into everywhere. I'm a god amongst men, 100,000 people in every stadium I go to. As a business decision, to have won the World Cup, accomplished the last thing that you had to accomplish, and saying, you know what, I'm going to take my brand to a quieter place and play games that matter less to build my future. Learning you see what Clutch Management and LeBron, you see what they're buying, right? LeBron is interested in having a stable of athletes work for him the rest of his career. Tom Brady is deciding whether he wants the $375 million or not from Fox, because there are any number of ways that he can compete against LeBron for money, because now they all want what Jordan has. Dwayne Wade is buying a WNBA team or getting in the mix on ownership in Utah, because they all want to compete here now. No more as players. They want to compete as owners of their own stuff.
It's so weird, all these really rich athletes tripping over themselves just for the opportunity to lose money year after year. It's odd.
Messi choosing something this small when he's this big, it's absurd visually, and it's so smart. If you just want, I've accomplished everything, peace of mind. Like, let me go play some soccer games that are fun and don't matter as much. And maybe I build a league or maybe I don't, but I'm going to partner with all these giant entities, and I'm going to do a rocking chair. And maybe I'll be great also in this league that's lesser than in my late 30s.
Yeah, I think out of all the variables at play, his greatness is probably the one thing that you can bank on, because it's a pretty big gamble from everybody involved, including Messi, but he stands to gain the most from it. And if he does indeed raise the tide with his performance and his star power, then everyone will get theirs too. But the entire sport is behind a paywall pretty much right now, and it's not one of the first top of mind streamers. This is about getting casual fans, right? People want to see the spectacle of this. Is the casual fan really going to go through the pomp and circumstance of getting Apple TV and signing up for MLS Season Pass? I don't know.
You say it's not one of the top streamers, but the way they spend and what they spend on very selectively, they are not doing what anyone else is doing in streaming. Here's a Michael J. Fox documentary, and it's amazing. Hey, look, Tom Hanks is here behind our paywall making a giant movie. The things
they
that
had a Best Picture too from 2 years ago that was exclusive behind the paywall. No, they make good choices. They're not these crazy volume shooters like they're out there in the game. But are you going to buy MLS Season Pass to watch Messi?
What you're doing isn't quite fair, because whether I do it or not is not what matters. A whole lot of people who wouldn't have done it are going to do it.
Right, but you're not even a casual sports fan, Dan. You're a sports fan, and you're from Miami, and you know that this is a big deal. And I still don't think you're going to get MLS Season Pass.
No, but I have Apple, and I won't get MLS Season Pass. That's not something that I am going to do. But I also don't watch any soccer that way.
If I told you, this is the point that I'm trying to get at. If I told you Messi's debut is on ESPN, you'd tune in because you have that. But the big bet here is, will someone like Dan, who's not even a casual sports fan, who is readily admitting, yeah, if it were on TV and not behind a paywall, I'd check it out. Are they going to get those people?
I think you're doing this wrong, though, because they're going to get internationally for sports, which is what all these streamers want. Sports. Internationally, it's going to be a monster. Like,
You're
it's
right.
not like just indisputably all over the world. That's what Apple does. It ain't about America. Apple is, we've got more money than everybody.
And it should be noted that Apple's MLS season pass does work in other countries. And the appeal is, for me, as someone that's going to Europe in a couple of weeks, I can follow the Leagues Cup from Greece on my iPhone, and it's not going to cost me extra. I can watch MLS in other countries with just one
Mike,
flat
but
rate.
The bet, however expensive Messi is, and Apple can afford any number of losses, the bet is internationally, Messi's going to make us a destination streaming service on one item. Like, Tom Hanks can't do that with a movie.
No.
Ted Lasso did it some because it got all the word of mouth. But Messi is regularly going to be giving you programming internationally that people would have never checked out Apple at all over the world are going to be not only doing that, but as an added bonus, you're doing in MLS what Adam Silver and David Stern were trying to do with basketball 30 years ago. You're making soccer and everything more international by bringing it to America and saying, hey, America, we know that you don't totally buy in yet on soccer, but you know what we do know that America buys in? Here's the very best. You want to watch this? Because he's playing in something that's a sewer for soccer. And that's, I don't even mean it as, I don't
you
mean
mean
it.
the country.
Yes, a sewer for soccer.
Compared to where he's been.
And a minor league compared to where he's been.
Yeah.
That bet, to me, is such a smart one from all the players, because what Messi is doing is saying, hey, Apple, you've got all the money in the world. Now we're partners.
Yeah.
You and me are building something.
Henceforth.
And it's soccer.
Yeah, I see the business strategy in it, and I think just last week, Apple finally met the threshold to begin revenue sharing with its partner in MLS, because they hadn't done that pre-Messi. And I wonder just how much of the international numbers is baked into whatever arrangement MLS has with Apple and Messi has with both those entities. But for me, as someone that loves a game, wants to see it continue to grow here in the States, I'm not thrilled at the notion of putting it exclusively behind a paywall. It's semi-exclusive because there's a couple of matches here and there that show up on network television, but to me, that's not how you actually grow the game. It's how you grow the financials, and their argument would be, well, if our financials are stronger, then the game will grow here, and we'll be in a positive position with a lot of momentum headed into 2026. But I would rather get Dan to watch an MLS game because it's on a service he already has, and tune in to see the atmosphere and see the world's greatest soccer player dominate in this league to a cartoonish degree. That's what I want. That's what I think grows the game. That maybe Dan won't buy the MLS season pass this year, but he got his sampler, and next year, damn it, he really enjoyed what he watched, and he'll sign up for it next year. To me, that's the big gamble here, is putting it exclusively behind a paywall. I have my feelings about it.
Chris Cody, if I want to get you as a subscriber to read my publication, The Athletic, The Washington Post, I would have said The New York Times, but they're not going to be doing this anymore. If I want you to be reading sports articles for my publication and subscribing to get behind a paywall, how many of them do I have to put in front of you with a headline before you say, I will indeed get this subscription from behind a paywall? You guys are making too much good stuff that I want to consistently read. How many of them do I have to put in front of you before Chris Cody buys a subscription to read?
If it's a good thing, it's just one. Like the right thing, I'll buy. I think I did it with The Athletic. There was just some article. I was like, damn it. They finally got me.
Give me the free admin from Metal
I put it in Slack and they didn't respond, so I was like, damn it.
I still haven't purchased an Athletic subscription, but if you put the Immaculate Grid behind a paywall, I think I'd crack.
I'm skeptical, by the way. A lot of people are perfect at this Immaculate Grid. I think there's a lot of cheaters out there. I'm in group chats. Everyone's always perfect. It's like, show me your 8 out of 9. Then I'll believe you. Josh Appel, 9 out of 9 every day. I'm on to you. Just because you announce a baseball team, I'm on to you, Josh Appel.
Josh Appel.
Mike Schur wakes me up because he gets it at 9 o'clock local time with – it's usually a baseball player with the first name Red that I've just never heard of before. He loves this game. And Joe Buck didn't even hear about it.
Have you seen how good Jeff Passan is at this game?
Got it in 12 seconds.
Taylor showed me a clip. It is impressive.
Crazy.
It was wild. I thought he cheated too. I think everyone cheats.
Don't you think Kirkchen would be better than Passan at it?
Yeah. But Passan was damn good. 12 seconds. Dan, do you know a Dodger Ranger?
Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, contract here. Oh, but nice. The rarity score is way too high. I need someone more rare.
I was bummed this weekend because the Marlins ended up getting swept, and the Marlins are fun and they're interesting and colorful, ethnic. It's been fun to watch them. And Mike, beyond that, I would say I have really gotten into baseball. I've always loved baseball, but the skill level of the Rays and the Braves and some of the things that these teams are doing has really captivated me, where I've seen like 45 Rays games and I just can't believe their plate discipline. But what bummed me out about this weekend was, oh shit, the Orioles are going to be good for 10 years because all their players are super young. And that team dragged the Marlins and is better than the Marlins and is going to be better than the Marlins for 10 years because all those players are going to get better. Those are super young players. It's not they're going to be good for a really long time, the Orioles.
Yeah, they have a core that's been building for a few years now, and Adley Rutschman, who we saw put on a show in the home run derby.
Righty and lefty.
It was incredible.
That he lost in the first round.
Right, which was amazing. It was a really great home run derby. It was great. Watched it at the Lucky Beaver in Tahoe. You know about it, Chris.
Why did you just do that?
He's been doing it all week. Just send me little passive-aggressive jabs because he was
Tahoe
in Tahoe
bros.
and I wasn't.
Ta bros.
I hate you.
We will get to Tahoe in a second, but you were saying.
The Orioles are going to be good for a really long time, and their core has been built over the span of years now. But the Marlins, if you look at them, actually have a reasonable young core that they're building around, but they're in more of a position right now to need to buy to really solidify a couple of places where they're a weak team, and the Orioles have a lot less weaknesses on their roster. Like, in their order, there are not any easy outs.
I feel like cores are overrated in baseball. I mean, you'd say the Angels have a pretty good core, huh?
Fair.
Yeah.
Man, that's
It's got to be a bigger core. That core's got to fit 6 or 7 guys, not just 2.
what Votto told us a couple of weeks ago. He's like, you got to have like 4 to 8 borderline all-stars. It's got to be more than 2. It can't just be Ohtani and Trout. You got to have more than that. And I'm watching the Braves. Like, the Braves are a lot better than the Marlins. Not a little bit better. The Braves are a lot better than just about everybody.
They're amazing. And they're another core that's locked up for years and years and years because they got so many contracts on the cheap at the beginning. They did what the the Rays used to do, except with every single player on their roster. They've got all these guys locked up for the next decade.
I wanted to get to the way that Skip Schumacher manages, because this is a new thing that I have not seen a lot of. Garrett Cooper was quoted as saying, we get a text every night with the reasoning behind why we're not in the lineup. I'm like, whoa, managers in my lifetime don't do that. I mean, obviously they don't text, because why would Grady Little be texting? But sending your first baseman, hey, you're not starting, but here's why. Here's what the numbers show. Here's that is a level of employee care that is not always always given by the old school managers.
Is it ever just you stink? You're 0 for 12.
Jim Leland, it was actually. He'd approach it with the same bedside manner as Mac's mom from It's Always Sunny.
You're Garrett Cooper. That's why you're on the bench.
Yes, Jim Leland, thank you for mentioning it, because he would just stand in front of Antonio Alfonseca, who didn't speak very much English, and he would say, I don't understand. Sandy Koufax, 98, strike 3. Nolan Ryan, 98, strike 3. Alfonseca, 98, on the black upper deck. That's such a bad thing to have said to your face.
Now 98 barely gets him a spot in the bullpen.
Right. Everybody, that's right. I'm showing my age there too, because 98 used to be something that meant something.
Yeah, I appreciate that approach from Skip Schumacher. That's also a move from a first-year manager whose family has not yet moved into town.
Were you guys surprised at all that Wade chose Allen Iverson as his presenter?
Yes, very surprised and slightly disappointed. I wanted it to be someone with heat ties, and I'm under the impression that fences have been mended to a degree, not to previous relationships, but that one was just a weird one to me because I didn't know that they had this great relationship, and it makes sense considering when Wade came into the league that he'd probably idolize Allen Iverson, but to me it was odd because I just wasn't privy to that.
I wasn't either. I did not know of their relationship, at least in part, because it wasn't like Wade was talking about it all the time. And I would say, without having talked to anybody about it, that it would suggest to me that there aren't totally mended fences when Allen Iverson is your choice there, because he can be a hero, but we hadn't heard from Wade very much how much of a hero he was. I don't know I don't know how to control whatever it is Allen Iverson is going to say at someone's induction. He was, throughout his career, somebody who was unpredictable. So I don't know what that's going to sound like. I'm finding it not just a mystery as to why that was chosen, given his heat ties, but also just wondering how much Allen Iverson wants to even be making a speech in front of people.
Well, I hope that Dwayne cleared it with him. I expect that he's not going to be totally surprised by this, but you never know.
Gets the alert on his phone like, I'm doing what?
Yeah. It's just, my entire take on this is just coded by the fact that it surprised me, and I didn't expect it. So I'm like, you're not good friends. That's my default. Like, how could I possibly be wrong about this? Dwayne, do you know that you're not good friends with Allen Iverson?
Name his favorite color.
It should be Tom Crean, if it's not going to be a Heat member. Even Melo we can understand. Henceforth, it shall not be. It shan't be Allen Iverson.
This is why your general arrogance knows no bounds.
Clearly, they're not that good of friends.
I'm not going to lie. At the beginning, I thought Mike thought it should be him.
Yeah. It would have surprised me less. I've at least had interactions with a man where I go, 3!
Yeah,
and he's like,
but he's also had interactions with Iverson that you don't believe he's had.
Correct.
Just because you didn't know about
right.
them. The level of arrogance in that is breathtaking.
Yes. No, it should be studied. There's something wrong there clinically.
It's absolutely how Mike lives his life.
Oh, you know what? I'm just saying it. You all thought it.
I thought it'd be
You
you
all
too. I
thought
it'd be
it.
you too.
Yep, Mike, we thought it was you.
Your interactions with Dwayne Wade were only he'd call the studio and you'd sing into the phone.
But he'd be so happy to say hi to Mike. Though,
Yeah. It's super. You had to feel it. You had to be in those studios in that talk back with the ISDN and Q. You don't know. ISDN. Don't change what I was saying, by the way. What I was saying, we all thought. Allen Iverson, huh?
It's an odd one.
Huh.
We had the surprise reaction. The next step that you took that is the bridge to overwhelming arrogance is to think that Dwayne Wade is either lying or wrong when he thinks Allen Iverson is his friend.
Yeah. No,
because you didn't know it.
Yeah, it's like when Jack Harlow showed up in Taylor Rooks' birthday photo in IG. I'm like, you guys you can't possibly be that close. It's a CNB scene. It's like the Michael Rubin White party. Yeah.
I can't believe it's taken this long to get to this because I can't believe that we have not mentioned that Jimmy Butler is reportedly dating Shakira.
Yeah.
That star turn from Jimmy Butler has been something to watch in his 30s. What are you moving away from the microphone for?
He doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to talk about it, Dan.
I need more information.
Well, the reports seem real.
No. The reports seem they're clearly dating. Come on, it was his security detail. She gets in the car first, and then 10 minutes go by. Turn a corner, he enters a car, seen together by people in the restaurant, laughing, having a great time. I'm a little worried.
Is the question more about how long this has been happening? Because Shakira was at quite a few Heat playoff games, Mike Ryan.
That's what I'm saying. I'm being a fan right now. I'm trying to figure out why the performance dipped precipitously.
No!
Yes. Oh, yeah.
No!
We're blaming women.
No!
We're blaming women.
No!
Oh, yeah. We're sports talk. We're blaming women.
No!
I love it here.
Men are the worst. Women, why did you let us control everything?
Why?
It's your fault.
Why?
It's your fault. There are no female Trumps. There are no female Putins. There are no female Kim Jong-uns. It's your fault that men are in power. It can't be that it's men's fault. Ever. You can't do that, Mike. That's irresponsible.
I will do it whenever and wherever.
You can't blame Shakira because the last 10 games of Jimmy Butler weren't himmy, weren't anything. We're just, oh, my God, Mike Malone is now wearing a shirt that reads, put that in your pipe and smoke it, and glasses and a chain, and he's calling himself the Lakers' daddy.
Yeah, and looking and sounding like an undercover cop. That was so weird. Hey, tell Bruce he's staying. We're running it. And then Bruce Brown could not have signed that contract with Indiana quicker.
I'm enjoying Darvin Ham when he hears about Mike Malone being the Lakers' daddy, retorting, and I'm very here for all the coaches just becoming professional wrestlers. Darvin Ham saying, "This shit ain't over." That's what the quote is. You may have swept us, but this shit ain't over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying every morning, too. Every morning, this shit ain't over. Wait till we get Dame. Do you see how scared Boss Media is? They're moving heaven and earth just to avoid this thing from happening. It's inevitable. You won't stop it.
Well, Shams reported, this part was interesting, I thought. He said of Lillard to Clippers to Celtics, he said resounding no. Resounding no is what Shams said. And Paul Pierce, can we get the sound, please, of what Paul Pierce had to say? Because my reaction to what Paul Pierce said was, who hurt you? And then my answer was, well, the Heat did. They sort of ended you had toppled LeBron, then LeBron created architecture that sends you to Brooklyn, and you're so bitter that this is your shit analysis.
It coats everything that he says. Every Heat take that he's ever had has been it's been salty. Of all the flavors available, you chose to be salty. Here's a sound courtesy of Showtime Basketball.
You put them together, they won't make it out the first round.
Wait.
You got to understand how they got to the championship this year. A lot of this had to do with their depth. And guys playing way above their pay grade. Way up. Caleb, Anthony, these guys was averaging 20 points on Boston. We ain't never seen them do that. Then you had Duncan Robinson. So if you get Dame, they gone. They already gone, but then you lose another 18-point, 20 score, gone. You're going to have to throw in Robinson. You're going to have to gut that team out.
Thank God that he got in the way of more championships for that man, because he's won one title and he's still celebrating it.
Who's Anthony?
You're welcome.